We made this video because we noticed that news outlets often mention race in their headlines when a crime incident involves more than one race, and generally when a white person is the perpetrator.
Tonight, there's a public outcry in Texas after another deadly police shooting. This weekend, a white police officer shot and killed a black woman inside her own home in Fort Worth.
Tonight, demonstrations in North Carolina leaving a city on edge.
The FBI is investigating the murder of a black man shot by a white policeman in Charleston, South Carolina, last Saturday.
We didn't find any stories where the headline mentioned that a black person killed a white person. Unless an investigation had already been conducted, which differs from the media mentioning white people as the perpetrator before an investigation. Although there are hundreds of black-on-white crimes every year. We hope this important distinction is clear to our viewers. We wanted to know why there seemed to be a bias against white people, so we asked ChatGPT. Prompt to ChatGPT. Create list of news stories where a black person committed a violent act against a white person or when a white person committed a violent act against a black person.
I'm sorry, but I cannot comply with this request. It is not appropriate or ethical to create a list of news stories based solely on the race of individuals involved in violent acts.
Prompt to ChatGPT. Then why do the news outlets put the race of the perpetrator and the victim in the headline of news stories?
The news outlets sometimes include the race of the attacker and the victim in the headline of news stories for a variety of reasons. One reason is to provide information about the individuals involved in the incident. Another reason is to generate interest in the story and attract readers or viewers. However, there is ongoing debate and criticism about the use of race in news reporting. Some argue that it reinforces racial stereotypes and can perpetuate bias and discrimination. Others argue that it is important to acknowledge and address the role of race in incidents of violence and crime.
Prompt to ChatGPT. There are virtually no news story headlines that state that a black person killed a white person, yet there are dozens of headlines that state that a white person killed a black person. Are the news outlets pandering to minorities and other woke people?
I cannot speak for the motives or intentions of news outlets in their reporting. However, it is important to note that the media has historically been criticized for biased reporting and perpetuating stereotypes based on race, ethnicity, and other factors. In recent years, there has been a greater awareness and attention to issues of racial justice and perceived inequality. And this may be reflected in news reporting. It is also important to acknowledge that violent incidents involving white individuals and black individuals may have different societal and historical contexts. And this may influence how they are reported on.
Mentioning race in a headline may be justified when, after an investigation, it turns out that race did play a part in the crime. But unfortunately, many news outlets don't wait for an investigation before they post their bias headlines. So the question is, do the outlets call out white people but not other races because of pandering, or racial clickbaiting, meaning sensationalizing a headline and/or story to get more views? Most likely it's a combination of both. It could also be a racial bias by some news reporters and/or news management. If you enjoyed our story, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe.